Hi, this week's build focus is finishing the dining room ceiling. But it has been cold. The dining room is cold, and there's like a foot of snow outside. So it took a little while to get going. Monday, all I did was go buy the glue for the glue up tiles and came back the next day to actually get started. I had to kind of map out where the seams were for the backer board, and I used these little plates to tie together the backer boards that were slightly not even, and it turned out just fine. And it turned out like it wasn't as big a deal as I thought it was going to be. Each one of these panels needed to be cleaned with alcohol before they were hung, and that becomes important here in a little while. I really tried with this first tile. I used the level, I measured, I marked. I really wanted to get this first tile positioned square to the room, so that all the rest of the tiles would be as easy as possible. And I did a really good job. I was so excited. The tiles aren't exactly perfect, but the trim at the top of the wall will hide the little bits that are less than perfect, and so it really just turned out so well. And all of that was this first tiles placement. So these tiles were so easy to use to put up by myself. You just have to, they hang basically by static electricity is what it felt like. Very little of the glue needed to hold it up. And so even though I was doing this by myself, originally I was so worried that I wouldn't be able to hold up the tiles and get them in place. And they turned out to be really easy. You just kind of maneuver them a little bit and stick them a tiny bit. Because once you stick even just like a half of it up, you can't move it anymore. And so I don't know exactly how something gets so well engineered, but it was really an easy product to use. So I was super excited. So I was smoothing these tiles down and just squishing the glue to make sure they're well adhered. And I totally stabbed my finger with this massive splinter. It was like a 1/4 of an inch or longer, and it really hurt. And all of the tiles they have to be cleaned with alcohol before you can hang them, so I had to cut out that splinter right away. And then I couldn't find my band-aids, and I couldn't find what I needed. It was right in front of me, I just wasn't looking. So I just had a massive cut on my hand getting sprayed with alcohol, and it was just kind of painful. So this is the end of this day. I didn't do much. I only did a few tiles this day. Vela and I went to get a pop cup in the massive snows. And I did find some bandage tape. I didn't want the alcohol to get into it, so I wanted to be sure it was all taped up. Yeah, so getting these tiles up was pretty easy. And then just getting the furniture out of the way so I could go up on the ladder some more. I had to deal with the precision cuts around the light fixture, and that was one thing that had me really worried. Because I did have one extra tile, but I just can't go making mistakes. So I tried to cut it very, the part that was going to definitely be cut out, and then just expand it from there to get as close of a cut as I could. Since this is the finish, you'll see this. You won't see immediately around the junction box because the light fixture has a plate that goes around it, so those slits that are off to the side won't be visible. But the ceiling was already starting to look really good. I was so excited. And I was so proud of myself for getting that cut nearly perfect. There were a few times where I put the glue on the tile and then realized that I hadn't moved the ladder where it needed to go. So holding the tile while it's all glued and trying to move the ladder all by myself, that was less easy. It was a little bit of a challenge. So I got all the way done with all the main tiles, and all the rest of the tiles along the wall are the ones that need to be cut. And I did this pattern so that the seams of the ceiling tiles would not line up with the seams of the backer board, except for where it was unavoidable. And so there were only 3 seams that lined up, and everything else they were staggered, which seemed to make the changes in the ceiling unnoticeable. Like with the texture of the tiles, you really can't tell where there's any sort of shift, where it's not perfectly smooth or perfectly connected. And these tiles just cut with a little razor blade. I was so close, almost done. So of course, my manager had to come down and double check my work. And I tried to show her, but she never looks above her head, so she never saw. And that was the ceiling tiles, all done. The lines were straight, and the seams for the meeting of the tiles, there were just a few I marked with blue tape that I wanted to go back and add some caulking to kind of make them invisible. But it really turned out so good. I'm so excited. I can't hang the light quite yet. I need to get the electrician out, and I also need to figure out the wiring for it. So very close, but and then I don't want to do the trim yet because I need to do some painting first. So I have some ideas for the walls. The stuff in the dining room just has to come in order. But more of the snow. Vela loves playing out in the snow anytime she can. Thanks so much for watching. Come back next week for another build focus, or check out the Zen builds from Sunday, which is a no talking version of everything that I'm up to in a week instead of just focusing on one project. Have a great week. Bye.